This video is about solving a system of equations by a graphing calculator. So because lines don't always have integers as y-intercepts and they're sometimes difficult to find their solution graphing, we're going to make our lives easier and we're going to use a calculator. Remember, when we're using a graphing calculator, we always need to have the equations in y equals form. So remember from first semester, we did this before a little bit. There are a couple steps to remember. So first, we're going to make sure that our equations are in y equals, which is function form. So we always want to have y equals, and then that's going to be our y1 and y2. We're going to put those in the calculator. We're going to graph and make sure it fits on our computer calculator screen, and then we're going to hit second trace calc, which is option 5, and we hit enter 3 times. So in the first problem, we have y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 4, and we have negative 2x minus y equals negative 7. So the first one's already in function form, y equals negative 3/4 x plus 4. The second equation, we need to solve for y first. So in order to solve for y, we're going to add 2x to both sides. So we get negative y equals 2x minus 7. And then because it's negative y, we always need to have a positive y, so we're going to divide by negative 1 everywhere. And we get y equals negative 2x plus 7, which is our second function form equation. So now that we have these equations, we're going to turn to our calculator. We're going to hit the y equals button. Remember, if you have things in your y equals already, you're going to clear them out. So just arrow over and hit clear. So y1 is going to be our first equation. Because there's a fraction, we need to use parentheses around the fractions. We're going to do parentheses, negative 3 divided by 4, close parentheses. Then we need our x, which is on a diagonal from the second key, plus 4. Then we're going to arrow down to y2 and put in our second equation, so negative 2x plus 7. Then once we have that, we're going to graph. Now in this case, notice that my graph window is a little messed up, so I'm going to hit zoom 6 to reset my window. So now I have my equation with my two lines intersecting. So I'm going to draw a little picture to sketch what my graph looks like. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. You should just have the intersection in the correct quadrant. So now I have my intersection point. I need to find what that point is. So I'm going to do second trace, which is our calc option. We're going to hit option 5 for the intersect and hit enter 1, 2, 3 times. And we get our intersection is 2.4 comma 2.2. So our solution would be 2.4 comma 2.2. So let's try another graphing. So in number 2, we have the equation 3x plus y equals negative 2 and 6x plus 2y equals 10. So the first equation we need to get into y equals form. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I get y equals negative 3x minus 2. And then my second equation, I have 6x plus 2y equals 10. I need to solve for y. So my first step, I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. 2y equals negative 6x plus 10. And I'm going to divide everything by 2. So y equals negative 3x plus 5. So we have y equals negative 3x plus 5. So in our calculator, we're going to hit y equals. And we're going to enter our equations. We have negative 3x minus 2 and negative 3x plus 5. We're going to hit graph. Notice that our lines are parallel. So in this case, all we have to do is draw our picture. And then remember what happens when we have parallel lines. So remember when we have parallel lines, they're never going to intersect. So in this case, we would have a no solution. So remember, this is one of our special cases. Number 3, I have negative 2x plus y equals 3. So to solve for y, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Y equals 2x plus 3 is my first equation. And then my second equation, negative 4x plus 2y equals 6. So in order to solve for y, I'm going to add 4x to both sides. So 2y equals 4x plus 6. I'm going to divide everything by 2. So y equals 2x plus 3. So notice that these are the same equation. So when I go to put this in my calculator, 2x plus 3 and 2x plus 3. When I graph, notice that I have the lines overlapping each other because I have the blue line and the red line on top of it. So I just need to draw a picture of this. Remember, when I have overlapping lines, that's also a special case, so this would be infinitely many solutions.